happy Lunar New Year. Welcome to YMCA of San Francisco's Classrooms for All. My name is Alex, and today I'm going to be your art instructor in showing you how to make a really awesome Lunar New Year craft that you can do right at home to celebrate this year. The materials that you'll need are some paper. You can use brown construction paper if you have it. Today I don't have brown construction paper, so I'm going to show you how to color in your paper to make it look the way we want it to look for our craft today. And the next material that you'll need is a pair of scissors, some tape. I have some brown markers and some brown crayons just to mix it up a little bit, a pencil, and a black marker. And today we are going to be making Lunar New Year lanterns. But today, to celebrate the year that we're in, which is the year of the ox, we're going to make them into ox lanterns. So I'm going to show you step by step how to make those with me today. If you want to join in, you can grab some materials and follow along. Or if you want to try this at your own time, feel free to watch and try it again later. All right, let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to want to do is to take one of my pieces of paper and I'm going to color that in brown. So ox or oxen are usually a neutral color, so like browns and blacks, whatever color you want to make your ox today, you can make it that color. You can make a rainbow ox, whatever you want. So today I'm going to keep it a little traditional and make my ox brown. So since we are in the year of the ox, let's talk about what an ox is. So oxen are kind of related or are related to what we now know as cows. So the cows that you see, if you're going on a long trip, you'll probably see them grazing on the grass. So oxen are domesticated cattle that were used and maybe are still used today for farming. So ox are loyal animals and they are trained animals that are reliable and dependable, which is a trait of the year of the ox, and people that are born of the year of the ox is believed. And so this year, Lunar New Year is falling on February 12th, and this 2021 year is the year of the ox. So if somebody is born this year, they're going to be the year of the ox. And if you're born 12 years ago, you might be the year of ox as well. I don't know for a fact, so don't quote me on that one, but every 12 or so years, we'll have a repeat of that animal. So the ox is a zodiac symbol for the year of 2021. And the zodiacs are represented in animals. So the first of which is the rat. So the year of the rat is the first year. The next one is the year of the ox, which is the one that we're in right now. The next is the year of the tiger, followed by the rabbit, and then dragon. Have you ever seen a dragon? I don't know. But the year of the dragon, the year of the snake, the year of the horse, the year of the goat, the year of the monkey, the year of the rooster, which is the year that I was born in, and the year of the dog, and finally the year of the pig. So after the year of the pig, it resets and goes back to the year of the rat and follows in that order. So that's why your parents or your brothers or sisters or any family members or friends might be a different zodiac symbol from you because they were born in a different year. And sometimes they might have the same one, so they might have been born in a different year, but it's still overlapped with that zodiac symbol. I've colored in my paper. I'm going to go over it a little bit more to fill in some of that white, but this should be fine for the craft we're making today. I like the squiggles to give a little bit more texture, as if my cow has some fur or some hair really on it, or my ox, I should say. So I'm going to go over that a little bit more to color it in more brown. You can even paint your paper if you would like to. You can use some watercolor paints or some tempera, whatever you have handy at home. And I'm coloring a little bit on the table, but that's okay. We always get a little bit messy in art class, and that's totally fine. So I'm gonna fill in as much as I can. And the next part we're going to do is we're gonna fold our paper in half long ways, so like a hot dog. Like this, with the colorful side pointing out. So we're gonna leave the white on the inside and have the colorful side pointing on the outside. All right, so you can do this in a number of ways. You can mark where you want to cut with your pencil, but what we're going to do is we're going to cut slits or straight up and down lines from the folded edge almost to the end of our open edge right up here at the top. We do not want to cut all the way through, because then you'll just end up with a bunch of strips of paper, and that won't be very fun. So what we'll do is we'll cut from the bottom of that folded edge and stop about 1/2 inch or so underneath the edge that's on top. So do not cut all the way across, or else we'll have to tape up a bunch of stuff and it won't look like a lantern at the end. So I'm gonna try to mark it a little bit too, where I wanna make my lines. So you can take your pencil and just make some lines across, or you can use your black marker if you want, but you might still be able to see some of those marks. So you might want to use a pencil just to be able to see where you want to cut and space it out. If you want to be really precise, you can also use a ruler to measure this out too, but I like to just freehand it sometimes. So I'm making lines all the way across, about the same distance between. And you can't see this on there because of the colors that I decided to use, but I'll show you what each step will look like once I start cutting. So I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to follow those lines that I put on my paper. And I'm going to keep it folded, start from the folded edge, so where it doesn't open up. We're going to cut from one end and stop until you almost reach the top. So like this. We do not want to cut all the way up to the top, or else we won't have that strip anymore. It'll just come apart. And we're going to keep doing that across the way, all the way across our paper. So Lunar New Year is a Chinese celebration, and each year it lands on a different day. So this year we're lucky enough to have it on February 12th, which is an awesome day. And it's celebrated for 15 days. So imagine having a holiday that you get to celebrate for that long. What a fun holiday. So over those 15 days, the zodiac symbol is celebrated, so the year of the ox. So you'll probably see signs if you live in an area that celebrates Chinese New Year, Lunar New Year, like we have in Chinatown. Is a huge celebration that happens every year here in San Francisco. And although we're in shelter in place, I'm sure there will be plenty of decorations outside for people to come and admire. So for those 15 days, there are a bunch of festivities and celebrations of ancestors that happens, and a lot of traditional activities happen as well. So oftentimes it's a time for people to celebrate and wish good fortune, good health, good prosperity, and happiness for the next year, or for this coming year. So there's a bunch of traditions that happen throughout those years, or throughout the year and through those days, those 15 days. All right, so I've cut my paper all the way across. And what I'm gonna do now is open it up so that one side you have the brown paper and then the other side is the white. And the white's gonna stay on the inside. And what it should already be able to do is be a little bit flexible, so you can kind of move it around like this. It looks really cool. And what you'll do is you'll take those two end pieces and wrap them around so that it makes kind of a circle or tube right in the middle. And we're gonna take our tape and tape those two parts together. So this will be the body of our ox lantern. And the reason we're making a lantern today is the last day of Lunar New Year is celebrated with the Lantern Festival. So people make lanterns, they'll purchase lanterns and let them go out into the sky and leave them lit up so that it lights up the sky in a beautiful way. And it's the last day where there's a huge festival and celebration with dragon dancing and yummy foods and just happiness all the way around. So it's a beautiful time in Lunar New Year, the final day, the Lantern Festival. And so we're gonna make our lantern for that particular day. So I've attached my lantern ends together. So now it looks like this. So you can probably stick a little fake candle in there and kind of shine through and see how that looks too. But we're not completely finished yet. Now we're gonna make it look like an ox. So we already made it brown like an ox or whatever color you chose at home. And we are going to make the face of an ox for our lantern. So we're gonna take that extra piece of paper, so I'm gonna put that part aside. Take that piece of paper, and what does an ox need on its face? Let's see. Well, just like we do, it has 2 eyes, so we're gonna need to draw 2 eyes. It has ears too, I think, and so those are a lot bigger. If you've ever seen a cow, they're gonna be about the same size, so we're gonna make them a little accentuated today, or a little bit bigger. And oxen have horns, so a lot of the male ones have horns on their head. So we're gonna make some horns and a mouth or a snout for our ox. So let's go ahead and get started with that. So I'm gonna take my piece of paper and I'm first gonna draw 2 circles for my eyes. So we're gonna start with the eyes and I'm gonna try to draw them the same size. So 1 circle, 2 circle right next to it, like this. So I have 2 circles right over here. I'm gonna leave some room up here because we're gonna use part of this paper. We're gonna try to use the whole sheet of paper, or most of it, to make all of the parts of our ox. So I have 2 circles, and I'm gonna draw two black dots in the middle for the eyes. So it's gonna look a little cartoonish this time. We're gonna cut those out. So I have 1 eye, and then the second eye. So we have 2 eyes for our ox, and we are going to place them wherever we want the face of our ox to be. So I think I'm going to use this part where we attached it as the back because it has a little bit of a bigger hole there. And I'm going to place my eyes towards the top part of my lantern on the other side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some tape. You can use glue as well if that's easier for you. And what I do is I do a little loop with the tape. So I'm gonna fold over that top part so that the sticky side is on top, and I press that down, and I take the other side and press the non-sticky side on top of the sticky part that I folded down first. And it makes a little loop of tape. And I'm gonna do that and place that on the back of 1 eye and find where I wanna put my eye on my lantern. So I'm gonna put it probably on one of these pieces right there. So there's 1, and I'm gonna put the other one probably right over here. So we have 1 eye, do that same technique with the tape, loop it, and now I'm gonna glue or tape this to the other part. So I wanna give a little bit of space because we don't want our eyes to be too close together. So I'm gonna put my next eye on the other part of my lantern. So we have 2 eyes attached to our lantern. You can put yours closer together too for that more cartoon look, but I'm gonna give it some space and maybe I can move it around later. All right, so the next part that we're going to do is make our ears. So the ears are gonna be bigger, and they're kind of like oval shaped, but they're gonna have a little point at the end, and we won't need to make it into a full oval shape. So what we're going to do is I'm gonna take my marker again, and I'm gonna draw one ear going one way and one ear going the other. So we're gonna point it out. So it kind of looks like a lemon, a long lemon. I'm gonna end it like this. So that's one ear right there. And I'm gonna make another ear that has the same shape, going the opposite direction. So same size if you can. But if you guys ever look at any living creature, they're not really perfectly symmetrical. So one eye isn't always the same size as the other. So whenever we make art, it doesn't have to be perfect or have the same shape, because that's what nature is always like. And so since we want our ear to match the body of our cow, we're gonna go ahead, or of our ox, I keep saying cow. We're gonna match the ears to the body of our ox, and I'm gonna color in my ears before I cut them out. So I have my two ears here with that same piece of paper that I cut the eyes out. I'm gonna color that in brown to match. So Lunar New Year is celebrated all over the world. So millions of people celebrate it across the world. So not just in China or places like here in San Francisco, all across the world, people are celebrating Lunar New Year every single year. And I think that's amazing. Just like we have holidays like Hanukkah and Christmas and Thanksgiving here in the United States, Lunar New Year is one of those holidays that I feel is so magical because it's celebrated universally. So the whole world is celebrating it across the whole globe. All right, so what I'm gonna do next is cut out those ears. And then we're going to attach them to the sides right over here. So you can even fold a little bit of that end so that you can attach it and they stick out a little bit more. And that's what I think I might do. And I might just take a little piece of tape and attach it to the side that I want the ear to be on. So I'm gonna put it off to the side here above the eyes, tape it down with that little fold that I have in there, so it kind of has a little flap to it and it sticks out. I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side too. Take some more tape and glue it or tape it to the other side. Like this. So now we have two eyes and two ears, and it looks pretty cute to me so far. All right, the next two things we're gonna be making are the horns, and so those are really fun to make. You can make them as big as you want or as small as you want because not all oxen have the same size horns. So we're going to take our marker one more time, or actually this isn't the last time, and we're going to make our horns. So I'm gonna use some of the space that's on my paper here because I wanna be able to fit the snout too as well. So I'm gonna use the spaces in between to make my horns and make sure I have enough paper and space to fit everything I want on one sheet. So the horns are gonna be a little rounded if you would like. This is one horn right here. I'm gonna make a second one going in opposite direction, so angled at the different direction, right over here. All right, so now we have two horns. We can go ahead and cut those out. And I've left enough room for my snout at the end. And the horns can stay white because they are not the same color as the body. They don't have fur. So we're gonna keep those white. If you wanna color them a different color, you can go ahead and do that too. make it a more magical ox today. All right. And then with those horns, I'm going to place them right in front of those ears, above the eyes still. So they're going to be right in front of the ears. I'm going to take a piece of tape, small piece of tape, and attach it right up top. Like that. So now we have one horn. I'm going to do one more. On the other side. Like this. All right, so now we have our horns, our ears, our eyes, and now we need the mouth or the snout for our ox. So what we're going to do next is I'm going to take that last bit of paper that I have right here, and I'm going to make an oval shape as big as I can, right in the spot that I have there. So this will be my snout. I'm trying to make it as big as I can, but that's a decent size. And then what we're going to put is some nostrils, so 2 holes for nostrils for the nose. I won't, because it's covered by this cute little snout. And then I'm going to take a different type of crayon just to kind of give it a little different dimension, and I'm going to color it in with my crayon color this time and not my marker. You can color it in pink if you want to, or red, or orange, or rainbow colored if you want to make your cow or your ox a different color. And we're going to cut that out and attach it to our ox lantern. All right, and we used almost all of this. We're not finished yet, so I'm going to use a last bit of this paper, or some last bit of it. I'm going to take this snout and attach it right underneath the eyes in the middle. I'm going to take the tape, and I'm going to do that looped bit with the tape and place it on the back, and I'm going to do one more since it's a bigger piece. And place that on the back of my snout, and I'm going to place that right underneath the eyes wherever I can stick it onto that lantern piece. All right, so now we have our finished ox lantern. The last little bit we're going to do is to make a handle so that we can carry it around and we don't have to hold it up like this to show everybody our masterpiece today. So what I'm going to do is take the last little bit of this piece of paper that I have and cut a strip all the way across like so that I have a little tiny strip of paper that I'm going to tape right to the top of my lantern. So I'm going to take my tape and get 2 pieces of tape. And then I'm going to place the tape on one end, each end, and tape it on the inside of my lantern, and then tape the other side across, loop it over on the inside as well. So now we have a finished ox lantern for our Lunar New Year this year. I hope you all enjoy this fun activity. Thank you all so much for joining me in creating our Lunar New Year craft, which is the Year of the Ox lantern for our Lunar New Year this February 12th. If you would like to join us for more classes, you can go to YMCASF.org/classrooms-for-all and check us out there. We hope to see you all again soon. Thank you, and Happy Lunar New Year.
Did you know that YMCA of San Francisco never closed? When shelter-in-place happened, we could no longer provide in-person programming. We quickly shifted to provide youth and family programming virtually. As early as April, we started providing on-demand activities in our YMCA of San Francisco YouTube channel.
For this video, we're going to be making a geodesic dome.
Today, we're going to be making a hovercraft. The science around this activity is really awesome.
In addition, we have a regular schedule of activities for our youth and families to join live. We feature read-alouds, yoga, family Zumba, arts and crafts, drawing clubs, and more. So don't miss out on our virtual youth and family offerings. Visit www.ymcasf.org for more info and class schedules.